Who was the first billionaire in Igbo land? The answer takes us back almost a century ago to the extraordinary story of one man who rose from humble beginnings to unimaginable wealth. His name, Sir Lewis Odumegwu Ojukwu, a visionary, an industrialist, a philanthropist, and the very first Igbo billionaire. Lewis Ojukwu was born in 1909 in Nnewi, Anambra State, into a modest family. He was not born into wealth, but was born with determination. He attended Hope Waddell Training Institute in Calabar, one of the most prestigious schools at the time, where he studied business and trade-related courses. It was here that Ojukwu sharpened his intellect and developed the mindset that would later make him a household name in commerce and industry. He was a man of vision, a pioneer of industry, and the very first Igbo billionaire. Ojukwu began his career in the agricultural department, but ambition soon led him elsewhere. He joined John Holt & Co., a major British trading company, as a sales clerk. At John Holt, he observed firsthand the struggles of local textile traders, especially the lack of efficient transportation in eastern Nigeria. This gap in the market became his opportunity. Ojukwu began small, running side ventures in textiles in Onitsha, but he had bigger dreams. He resigned from John Holt to establish his own company, Ojukwu Transport Limited. Ojukwu Transport Limited became a game changer. His fleet of lorries revolutionized commerce in eastern Nigeria. He made it possible for traders from Onitsha and beyond to move goods across the Niger River and into Lagos. In fact, his transport company was the first major operator moving Easterners into Lagos, after they crossed by boat from Onitsha to Asaba. His timing was perfect. After World War II, Nigeria entered an economic boom. The British colonial government needed reliable transport to move goods and military supplies, and Ojukwu's fleet was ready. His trucks carried not just produce, but even wartime supplies for the British during the war, a service that earned him recognition and, years later, a knighthood from Queen Elizabeth II. But Ojukwu was not content with transport alone. In the 1950s, he diversified, investing heavily in textiles, real estate, and manufacturing. He founded Ojukwu Stores and Ojukwu Textiles, expanding his influence across industries. Soon, his business interests touched nearly every corner of the Nigerian economy. At the height of his success, Sir Lewis Ojukwu sat on the boards of Nigeria's most powerful companies: Shell Nigeria, Guinness Nigeria, Nigerian Cement Factory, Nigerian Coal Corporation, Nigerian National Shipping Line, Costain West African Limited, John Holt PLC, and even the Nigerian Marketing Board. He was not just a businessman, he became a captain of industry. In fact, he was the founding president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and also served as president of the African Continental Bank. Wealth gave Ojukwu influence, and he used it to shape Nigeria's future. He was a financier of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, the leading political party under Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. He became a member of the House of Representatives during Nigeria's First Republic. In 1953, he chaired the NCNC Peace Committee, tasked with resolving political disputes in the Eastern region. His policy views leaned capitalist, balancing Azikiwe's socialist ideals with pragmatic economic growth. Ojukwu also co-authored reports that recommended investment in banks and public corporations to stimulate regional development. Meanwhile, he continued to give back, funding education, supporting young entrepreneurs, and contributing to regional development boards. In recognition of his service to the economy, Sir Lewis Ojukwu was awarded the title of Officer of the British Empire, OBE, when Queen Elizabeth II visited Nigeria in 1956. It was none other than Ojukwu's Rolls Royce that carried her, a symbol of his stature and prestige. By the early 1960s, Ojukwu was not only the richest Igbo man alive, but one of the wealthiest men in all of Africa. His fortune made him the first Igbo billionaire, and his influence stretched across finance, industry, and politics. Sir Louis Ojukwu passed away in September 1966, just a year before Nigeria descended into the Civil War. His son, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, would later become the leader of the secessionist state of Biafra, forever tying the Ojukwu name to one of the most defining chapters in Nigerian history. But long before that, Louis Philip Odumegwu Ojukwu had already carved his name into history as a pioneer, a billionaire, and a trailblazer for Igbo entrepreneurship. Sir Louis Philip Odumegwu Ojukwu's life was proof that vision and hard work could change not just one man's destiny, but the destiny of a people, from a young clerk to the first Igbo billionaire. His story continues to inspire generations of entrepreneurs across Nigeria and beyond. You are watching Ebony People TV.